Hello everybody, welcome back to my daily dose of Kerbal Space Program with a daily Kerbal. And yeah, well, that last episode was that was a chore, wasn't it? Well, things are about to get a lot more interesting because we are going to go mining for ore. And we're going to do it on the surface of Minmus with two tiny drills that I have on the side of this truck. And I am going to go out there and yeah, we're going to do this. So, in case you missed my last episode, I landed this thing here, which is eventually going to be the vessel to carry our ore back to Kerbin and fulfill a contract that I've been working towards. More importantly, though, the reason that I'm doing this the way I'm doing it right now, instead of just staying docked up there and filling up the canisters, is because this area actually doesn't have. Not only does it have a very low ore count, the ore count is actually so low that it is not possible for me to mine here. There has to be like a specific percentage of ore in the surface for me to even consider mining here. So I'm going to drive this truck, and I'm actually... You know what? No. I was going to say I'm going to stop the truck so I can do a quick save, but I decided I'm not going to do that. You know, if I flip this truck all the way out here on the surface of Minmus, I have nobody to blame but myself. This is going to be extremely slow, and this truck is terribly equipped because it doesn't have a surface sample analyzer. That's my mistake, by the way. So I'm going to drive, I believe, to the top of this hill. Driving down is going to be fun because it's going to be me braking the entire time. You don't want things to go too quick on surfaces like these because a single turn will, like a tap of the turn button could end up toppling the whole thing. So a number of scenarios have kind of crossed my mind right now. Maybe we're not going to have enough fuel to get back into Minmus orbit and deliver our ore, because we have to get back into at least Minmus orbit if we ever hope to be able to refuel the ship enough to carry the things all the way back. And we had very little fuel left over by the time we arrived here. If we can make it into Minmus orbit, everything is fine. If we can't make it into Minmus orbit, then the only option we're going to have is to start creating fuel for ourselves here on Minmus, which means I'm going to have to land a planetary refinery module, basically just a fuel converter and a couple empty fuel tanks. Maybe we don't even need the empty fuel tanks because we can just directly convert the fuel and put it right into the spaceship. But either way, fuel and how much fuel it takes to orbit Minmus. Like, if the craft just had to take off and do it, it would be fine. But the thing is that it doesn't. It also has to do it with a lot more weight than it started out with. Like most vessels that I've been using right now, they tend to continuously decrease in weight as they travel because they're burning some of their, always burning their fuel. But in this case, it's going to leave here with a load. So it's going to be heavier going out than coming in. Or equally heavy, considering it, it did burn fuel. So pretty much all the laws of how easy it was to to orbit Minmus with crafts that I'd landed on it, I can throw out the window. And I'm thinking that we've probably driven far away enough already. So, I guess I'll just try to get to the top of this hill. I'll stop up there once the truck is even. Does this thing have an antenna on it? It does, yes. Don't have any signal, which means all of our relay satellites are out of contact. Kind of sucks. I am gently tapping the turn button when I want to turn, because if I hold it down too much at like this 10 meters per second speed, you can already see that the wheels are jumping there. And it's scary because, I've flipped vessels on planets before and lost incredible amounts of progress. Because even reloading my latest quick save, you can't quick save. If I try to hit the quick save button now, it'll tell me that I can't do it because I'm moving on the surface. So on particularly, longer excursions where I'm driving my lunar rovers miles and miles and miles to get to like areas that it wants me to analyze, then yeah, I'm in trouble. because that means I have to stop regularly to quick save. Or in worst cases, to refill electric charges. This should be far enough. Let's break here. I gotta hit the S key a bit. Help slow it down. There we are. Does this thing still have the... No, reaction wheels are disabled. Okay, we stopped. So let's do this. I'm gonna deploy the drill. And let's see what we got. Okay, we do have ore. This is going to fill up incredibly slowly. So let's start both of these. Temperature's starting to rise, so let's activate these radiators. I wasn't sure how many we'd need, so I put on way too many probably. We'll activate 4 out of 8 and see if that keeps it at optimum. Nope, still climbing. I wonder if what happens if I turn them all on. Besides, you know, the thing is going to eat through my battery power. How's it doing now? Still climbing. Well. Okay, so this is basically the point where I fast forward. I'm not going to force you to watch the whole thing. But we kind of got to do this until we collect 600 units of fuel, of ore. And it takes extremely long, and I don't think that we can, you know, effectively work through the night because, you know, we shut down. So then we got to go back today and then start the harvester again, I think. Don't we have to start the harvester again? Yes. You have to start the surface harvester again manually at the beginning of each day. And then you see we jump ahead again. Another day goes by. And then I got to do it again. So instead of, again, forcing you to watch this as I very slowly gain my 600 units of ore with a several day mission, poor Kima must be deadly lonely. I'm going to do my thing again where I pause the recording and meet you guys again once I have filled up the tanks. There we go. Okay, we're full. We've been out here for a week. I don't know if those 23 days, you know, how long ago those count. Is that like since I launched this, or has it actually been 23 days since? It can't have been. But it has been like a week or so. But we have our 600 units of ore. So there's that. And we already have that complete. That's good. Now we need to get this ore back to Kerbin. So, I mean, I'm going to drive back to Kerbin for as long as we can, since, you know, we're not... our batteries aren't actually filling up right now. Because we're, you know, in the dark. But luckily I did design this to be able to drive in the dark if it has to. In fact, just, you know, kind of I will actually quick save this time. Because I don't want to have to redo that if something goes wrong. Would you please stop right now? Also, I want to do something that might be considered a bit risky. Okay, there we go. How about we see what Kima sees throughout her little adventure here. This is basically her view of this mission. I seem to remember there being a slightly less steep slope in that direction over there. So let's go. And let's do the rest of this from her view. I don't know how much you guys can see. My screen, I tend to notice, is a little bit lighter, I think, than the standard setting on most monitors. So I can sort of see like this shrouded Minmus silhouette. However, on the XSplit screen that I'm looking at here to my right, on the other monitor that I have that is a lot darker, I can literally see the heads-up display, the things that are lighting green on the heads-up display, and the area illuminated by the headlights. So yeah, I hope you guys aren't completely blind as to, you know, what's going on here. I mean, there's not much to see anyway. We might even end up... I don't think we're going to have to stop because it looks like our battery power is going to last us through the night. We only have to get 2.2 kilometers over there to our target. We're aiming at the blue, light blue target, not the gray one. So yeah, this is basically what it feels like to be an astronaut in the Kerbal Space Program. I still haven't completely given up on the idea of performing an entire mission from, entirely from the inline, the cockpit view, just to kind of, experience what it is that an actual astronaut experiences. Like, one of the things that always kind of baffles me when I think about it is the concept of, like, the Apollo 13 astronauts. Lovell, Mattingly, and Hayes. We're going way too fast. We're also on a downward slope, which I couldn't actually tell because... or is it an upward slope? No, we're going on a downward slope. We're speeding up. Speeding up a little bit too quickly, in fact. Beep. Ah, okay. Hang on, I am going in the right direction, aren't I? Folks, I think I may be lost. Give me a second here. Nope, that is the outpost. Okay, I could have just checked it like this. Never mind. Anyway, what was I saying? Oh yes, the Apollo astronauts. So, what I was noticing, I mean, what I was thinking about the other day is that basically what happened on Apollo 13. I'm not entirely familiar with the technical specifics about what happened, but for some reason they were forced out of their command module back into the service module to try and, last out the fact that they were running dangerously low on oxygen and stuff. But the really interesting part about it is that for a majority of their flight, like, they had no idea what was wrong because... unlike when your car breaks down and you can literally just, okay, here we're gonna hit the flats soon. Yeep. Yike. Okay, good. Unlike, like if your car breaks down, you can just kind of park it on the side of the road, get out and take a look and see what's wrong. You can't do that. Oh shoot. Oh boy. Oh boy. It's okay. It's okay. We're fine. This is fine. This is totally fine. Ouch. This thing is bottom heavy, so we shouldn't end up flipped. Well, darn it. Okay, let's see if we can salvage this. Just kind of bounce around on the surface, then it should be able to flip us back up. And there we go. Okay. Gently. Okay. Nothing was broken. Everything's fine. Anyway, where was I? Let's keep going. So yeah, the Apollo astronauts had to wait all the way until they made it back to Earth to get an actual view of what the heck went wrong with their craft. I don't think I can turn on the toggle the torque from inside, so gotta do that from here. So they had to see it. The only way they could see it was they couldn't go outside. They couldn't perform an unscheduled spacewalk because that would have required a cabin depressurization, which would have wasted oxygen. And they couldn't do in their position. So basically, what they did was they literally just waited out the entire flight. And the first time they got the look at what happened to the service module, they actually had to. It was when they separated. When they separated all the way back on their re-entry trajectory. So, yeah, this is pretty much how astronauts feel. And all they got are their readings and nothing else. Okay, now because I can't turn around 180 degrees, I am actually going to disable this view for when I make my parking. But I can. It's nice to know that the battery power for this thing can basically run it throughout an entire Minmus night if need be. Okay. I will do my best to try and line it up blind. Something like that, I think. Alright, switch out. Not even close. Yeah. Also, I'm gonna be trying to park this thing in the dark. Should be fun. Did not think to put rear view lights on it, despite the fact that that's where the docking port was. Okay. Oof. May have bumped into it a little hard, but you know what? We did it. We did it. Now, it's time to fill these things. Come on. Yeah. You know what? I'll see you when I'm done refilling. And that's the last of the ore filled up. Just let me take a quick check, make sure all these are full. That's 75. That one's full. 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 And that one's full. More importantly, this one's empty. And this one's... That's the battery bank. This one's empty. Okay. Now, as fun as it was to do all this in the dark, I'm just going to speed up till morning. Come on, give me the sun. There we go. Or Rooster Crow or something like that. Okay, so crew, I believe, is still like we only need like I'm going to leave 2 Kerbols down here. We don't need that many. Might even leave 3. The pilot is definitely going. So, just make sure that everybody's in the right spot. Okay, we got... I don't know who's where. This is definitely a scientist in there. These ones, I believe that's our second... Who's that? Kima's the one in there, and then I believe Herbert is the one in there. Yes, it was. Okay. So that's Herbert. And then we have Tangan and Jogard in here. Now, I'm going to leave 1 scientist, I believe, on this station, and 1 engineer. So that means Herbert. You can take that data with you, by the way, while you're here. EVA. Got a surface sample that we can use for extra money. And by money, I mean, of course, science. We here at Kerbal Space Program, we don't care about money. We're in it for the science. Okay, and then... Oh crap, which one is the engineer? Tangan. You are staying on Minmus. I know this has been your every dream. You are going to stay behind on Minmus as Herbert and Jogard carry the fuel, I mean the ore, back to Kerbal. So let us undock from here. Okay, let's carry them out a safe distance away from the station. And you can already feel how much heavier the craft has become now that the truck is struggling with moving them. Also, despite the wheels clearly pointing in one direction, the craft is moving in a different one. Should be fine, though. And now is the part where we find out if this fuel is enough, which is why I'm actually going to quick save, probably right before I launch it, in case I need to do an emergency, you know, don't launch. That would be like, what, an emergency launch cancellation, I guess? Yeah. That's good enough. Don't feel like hauling it any more than that. But I already have bad feelings as to our chances of getting out into orbit. Yeah, the rest of this episode is pretty much just going to be the return trip. Should be interesting. It's going to consist of some spaceflight, some docking, some of this, some of that, you know. Come on. I do have to park this before I do anything else, though. Okay. Dramatic music for the dramatic parking maneuver. Okay. Let's re-extend this solar panel. And now let's flip over the ship. Quick save it here. This is actually a point we may want to return to. And let's, well, let's take off. I believe this is the way we want to orbit. I do not have SAS on. Shoot. Okay. Why are we not rotating? Oh, did I turned this off, didn't I? Yes, I need it on. There we go. Okay. Let's go. I mean... Oh yeah, come on. We got plenty of fuel to get into orbit around like mid-miss. Come on. I just want to be able to speed up, get above 3,000. Come on, hurry. Music's awesome, though. Alright. So, we're gonna get, you know, on the way, but before we get on the space highway, we're gonna have to stop at the space gas station for some space gas. Remember that period in history when everything that had to do with sci-fi was all space something? Like, I remember reading an early version of the script for Star Wars in comic book form. I can't remember what, I think there was a comic book publishing company that had a deal with Lucas or something that for some reason was given an early treatment of the script that would eventually become the Star Wars movies, and they made a comic based on it, and it was like the most late 60s cheesy piece of science fiction crap you can possibly imagine, with literally everything being space something. I believe that they actually referred to the protagonists as the Star Warriors. Wasn't that something? Alright, that intersect should work. We are trying to catch up with the station, so this is going to be good. I'm going to, you know, this is the usual orbital rendezvous thing. We're just going to keep orbiting until we eventually rendezvous and then dock. I'm going to pause the recording here so you don't have to watch that. As me, you know, I slowly orbit around this planet a bunch of times. See you when it actually happens. Alright. I paused to have a little snack. We're also on our final approach to the Kerbal station. Excuse me, the Minmus station. Kerbal station's all the way over there. Docking is going to be performed in the dark yet again. I'll just speed this up a tad. Tad more. Alright. Stop trying to fight the SAS. There we go. Doesn't feel like we're traveling at 3.3 meters per second. This feels a little faster. Anyway, you can see our fuel meter up in the top right. We are, we're definitely inching it. But yeah, should be just fine. Alright. Now at this distance, we will simply flip over and do the rest with the onboard RCS. There we go. Now there are several things that we're going to have to... I'm not going to lie. I did kind of perform a botched unmanned spaceflight around orbit that I immediately reverted when it was done. Not because, you know, I wanted to mask the fact that I failed at something, but I actually did only initiate a very short orbital flight, knowing that I was going to revert it later in order to test something out. I wanted to see if I actively had to hide these fuel pods, these ore pods more specifically, behind a heat shield. Because you can see that they're not hidden behind one. I chose not to. And I sent the thing through re-entry to see if they would explode, and they did not. So I am operating under the assumption that if we manage to slow our craft down enough, then re-entry with the fuel pods outside of storage is not going to be a problem. And I hope I don't regret making that call. Bring her in. There we go. We're aligned. Magnets should take over. Click. And beautiful. Now, we gotta quickly refuel. We don't really need to fill her up, but I think I'm going to anyway. I feel like we might as well. Although, yeah, that should be enough. I am going to quick save here, obviously, if it turns out that I'm wrong. But we now have... How much fuel? How much do we have left in here? Let's put a little bit in that tank, too, just to be safe. Maybe put this, say, halfway up. And, you know, what's going to happen is we're going to end up back at Kerbin with fuel to spare, as always, but... We operate out here in the spirit of the American space program, which gave a damn about the safety of its crew, just like I do. I give a darn about the safety of my crew. So now let's see if we can't return back to Kerbin. In order to do that, we're going to have to go back to the opposite side of the planet, and then right here we are going to have to detach. Stopped at the gas station. Bought some beef jerky and some soda for the road, maybe a bag of chips. Herbert picked up her latest issue of Garfield. And now we're ready to get back onto the space highway. Oh shoot, I totally like missed an opportunity there to... Yeah, I mean, it's obviously, right? Obviously, we're not talking regular chips. These are space chips. And, space magazines. Let's get the heck out of here before I go crazy. It's also going to be good to see, you know, how much fuel this is going to take us. I'm more than convinced that I have way too much fuel on board, but we'll find out. That's what those stations are for, right? They're there in case we need to refuel, and we need to refuel right now, so let's go. Yeah, look at that. Look at all the fuel we're going to have left. Alright. Let's turn the RCS off. We don't need that. Now, obviously, the last big mystery of this flight is, was I right about these fuel pods not burning up? Because that's kind of essential to our mission. In fact, since we have so much fuel left, I'm going to do something just because it's not, I don't think it's guaranteed. In fact, it's almost guaranteed that we're not going to land on the bright side of the planet. Which doesn't necessarily matter, but because I'm very particular about making sure that we successfully land this and keep it stable for the amount of time that the contract requires, I want to make sure that we land on dry land this time. So instead of doing our usual thing where we hit for a specific height and then just fly with it, we're going to orbit first. We're going to get into low orbit first. Once in low orbit, we're going to choose where we land. We have a ton of fuel left, right? So we might as well. Let's bring her in below 200,000 meters. Under 50. As long as I wasted all that fuel that I could have left there for future missions on the Minmus station, I might as well use it. This will also ensure that we land at a slower speed. And as such, chance of our ore storage pods burning up is a lot less. I'm going to set the Dinkelstein-Kerbin station as our target so I can use it to level out our orbit eventually. For now, let's just bring her in nice and even. Come on. I'm running out of water. I may end up regretting this, looking at my fuel right now. In fact, I think I'm gonna kind of cut it here. I like how experienced a lot of our crew is right now that we're doing regular Minmus missions. Regular Minmus landing missions, in fact. I'll use the RCS, makes things more stable. The reason I'm leveling us out is because, if possible, I want to land close to Kerbal HQ. I know we can do it. We came so close that one time. And I have wasted way too much fuel on this endeavor, so I'm just going to stop it at 50. Or 40 units of fuel, actually. I'm looking at the oxidizer again. Alright, so now I guess we just kind of orbit for a while and wait till Kerbal HQ comes up on the right side of the planet. Shouldn't take too long. There it is. But we are also not at the right point to burn now, so... Well, I guess I'll quick save it and do it that way. Right here, quick save, retro. Alright, nice and slow burn this time. And periapsis is not dropping anywhere near fast enough. So screw it. Screw my idea of a precision landing. We're just going to land on the... And we're just going to hope that there's a landmass below us. Come on, don't run out of fuel. Don't run out of fuel. Do not run out of fuel. Okay, we're at 45, which is actually the recommended mark of re-entry. Let's hope that's good. I can actually just... Yeah, that's fine. Can turn that off, and we can detach. There we go. We just put Sir Isaac Newton in the driver's seat. Why was my SAS disengaged? Keep forgetting I turned that off. Okay. Down we go. I'm actually going to do something else that I've never done before. I've never used drogue chutes. They're parachutes that don't actually slow you down that much. They're just good for kind of getting that initial slow. And all of this still, of course, hinges on the assumption that we're not just going to, you know, immediately hit atmosphere and everything that I'm carrying is going to burn up on the side of the spaceship. Appreciate it if that didn't happen, game. Let's speed this up. Okay, here comes the burn. Depending on the rate at which we slow down, you know, we may actually do laps around the planet. So last time I performed this test with that unmanned craft I spoke of, I managed to go through the entire process without even one of those heat bars popping up. So let's see how that goes. Alright, I'm speeding up. Speeding up in atmosphere particularly, I think it messes a lot with the physics anyway, but I don't feel like waiting that long. Especially since, yeah, it turns out, it looks like we are actually going to be doing laps around the planet. Hear that? Burn's decreasing. So, it's not like we can do anything about it, right? We don't actually have any fuel left. So, yeah, you know what? I'm gonna pause this and let you guys come back when we hit that next lap. Round 2 of our suborbital descent. Apoapsis is now at 600,000 meters. See if the burn can bring it down this time. I mean, we are going to land eventually. This may actually even be a much healthier way of doing it because it's going to slow us down a bit better. I wonder if I can increase the drag by deploying the landing gears. Deploying the landing gears could also cause them to burn entirely. We're slowing down a lot quicker now. And our apoapsis is dropping a lot quicker too, so we might not actually have to do another lap. Although we did just start climbing again. Darn it. Looks like we're gonna have to do a third lap. Been a while since one of these happened, huh? Alright, so see you in lap 3. Round 3. There's like no way we still get out of Kerbin's atmosphere a third time. Come on. Just bring us home. These Kerbols are getting dizzy. I know their faces are happy and smiling, but if you look beneath the smiles and the giant, round, happy eyes, you will see pain and suffering and nausea from the dizziness of going in circles 3 times. Ugh, come on. You just gotta slow down below, gotta slow down below escape velocity. Come on, we can do this. Our periapsis is now staying ahead of us, thank goodness, and there's this huge landmass ahead too, so you know what? I'm feeling good about this. There we go. Camera flips. Means we're on suborbital trajectory. We have basically nothing left in the ablator. Oh wow. That's huh. Here's hoping we don't need it. That thing's gonna be gone very fast. We're slowing down nice and steadily now. Also doesn't look like we're gonna land on land. Looks like we're gonna fall into the water again. We slowed down well enough. Okay, let's slow down this again. So those are the drogue chutes. Should help us slow down. And now the main chutes. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? I don't even know if we need all this. It's just that I'm extremely nervous about the extra amount of weight that we have on board right now. Come on. Don't even know when these guys are supposed to deploy. When do you guys fully deploy? I don't know what any of this means. Oh, it's a landing strut. Crap. I want to look at the chute. 2,500. Okay. Speed up to there then. Okay, that's the drogue chutes. Yep, not nearly enough slowing force there, but at 1,000 meters, we should get the second set of chutes. There we go. And now we're basically crawling. Looks like I hit the right amount, just barely. So it's going to drop down a bunch, but this time, I'm not going to make my mistake that I did the first time. I am going to wait until the contract indicates that it is complete, because I am not bringing these nuts. I'm not bringing these dumbheads another haul of ore from Minmus. They can forget it. They basically got a second entire group for free, and they should be ashamed of themselves for putting me through this. Look at poor Herbert. Look at her. Jeez, that was loud. I'm sorry about that. Okay. Are we stable now? Returned home from the surface of Minmus. Oh, that's right. This is now a ship that has landed there, too. So, there's that. Now, my ore is on Kerbin and it has landed. Are you kidding with me right now? I've mainstayed. What? No, sorry, dramatic music. Nope, this is not a dramatic music moment. This is a sad moment. I am once again. I've brought these people an entire haul of 600 units of ore for frickin' free, and I am very mad about that. Yeah. Okay, so, just because I refuse to let those clowns at whatever the company is that's trying to screw me for all this ore, I have reloaded the quick save, which, unfortunately, as I seem to have forgotten, was one of the saves where we didn't have any fuel, so just frustrated enough, I activated the infinite propellant cheat, so we now have infinite propellant. We're coming in a bit of a quicker rate, but just because, I've performed this landing 3 times already, I am putting us down on dry land, and look, there's Kerbal HQ. I hope that we're gonna be able to get us. Nope, we're gonna land in the ocean again, aren't we? And worse, we're actually gonna just blow up in midair. Okay, so never mind that. One last retry. All right. Now it has to land on dry land. It has to. Come on. I'm sorry if you consider this a cheap cop-out. Like I just, referring to the infinite propellant tick box, but I'm just really frustrated by this mission. I was standing there still in the water, I'll admit, but I'm sorry, I'm not gonna give this company free ore anymore. This is probably gonna burn up everything. I imagine this is gonna happen right now, is that this whole thing is just gonna burn up, but not only am I landing us on dry land, I am gonna bring us as close to Kerbin HQ as I possibly can. It looks like right now we're heading pretty close. With all the stopping power and the parachutes for this thing, we should be fine. Oh, look, no heat bars. I didn't tick the box to ignore heat, so yeah, we're not going to land near HQ at all, but look at that, we're fine. We're going to land somewhere in the mountains. If they have to hike all the way up to the top of the mountains to pick their fuel up, you know what? That's fine by me. Although this is going to cause something of an issue with us slowing down. There's not nearly as much ground between us and the... Oh, come on, don't do this to me. Okay, there we go. Oh, crap. We are upside down. That is not something I am okay with. If you could flip us other parachutes, if you would fully deploy, please. Other chutes? Alright, let's speed up a bit. Goes the fuel. Like now. There we go. And we flipped right side up again. Excellent. Alright. Gonna land right on a mountainside, and this should be terrible. Do I still have any RCS left? Can I use that to push me away from the mountainside? This is what a re-entry control system is meant for, right? Controlling re-entry. All these landing struts are now going to be pretty useless. I just hope it doesn't... because if this thing touches the ground and the parachutes disappear, if it touches the mountainside, then this thing is going to go careening to its ultimate destruction. Don't. Please don't. No, looks like we didn't... We lost 3 ore tanks. Okay, we're landing away from the mountains this time. I refuse to be cheated again by these suckers. Still didn't come even close to Kerbal HQ, but I don't care. Just land it on the ground so I can get this darn contract complete and don't ever have to think about it again. Alright. First set of chutes. Just okay. Calm down, nice and easy. Brace yourself for loud noises. Can I fix that somehow? Spacecraft, ambience, music, voices. Yeah, spacecraft. Take that down a bit. Alright, I just land it and let's never think of this again. We did lose one leg, it seems, in the re-entry, but we lost all of our legs in re-entry, even though we were going faster than 10 meters per second. You know, I don't care. I don't care. Okay, this is complete. Now complete my other one. Thank you. Oh my gosh. I don't care that I had to cheat to do that. I think I was justified. I think I was justified in doing that because I completed this contract. I completed it twice. I completed your darn contract twice. So don't pester me anymore with your stupid fuel. You stupid company. Ugh. This has been the Daily Kerbal, everybody. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.